Hello and welcome back to the channel. Another bit of advice video here. Just so you know when you go to buy cars what you're buying. If you watch to the end of this video, I document a Ford Kuga as well. This seems to be happening more and more often now. This is a Vauxhall Crossland. I mean, there's no secret Vauxhall have been using other cars parts for years, but obviously we know that Peugeot and Citroen have now taken over Vauxhall. I thought that would mean they would be getting the odd engine getting used and stuff, but what I can gather from this car, it's just a Citroen C3. Could be a C4, but I think it's a C3 underneath. So this is like the elite spec car. So the inside all looks very Vauxhall. They start looking close. All this is Citroen. I believe they're Fiat, actually. Fiat Stokes. You got the full heated seats, heated windscreen, top spec car, lovely touchscreen and all that, and God knows what buttons down there. Straight giveaway there. The pedals, Citroen and Peugeot. The key looks like a Vauxhall key at start, but you turn it over. It's a Citroen Berlingo key. So, you'd think, well, it's a nice top spec. I'll take that key out. Nice top spec car, so somebody's gone to the effort of, I want a Vauxhall. I want an Elite. Elite, you get everything. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, heated windscreen, you name it. And, you would get your new car home and say to your neighbour, look at my new Vauxhall. It's not, it's a Citroen C3. I just don't know how honest these companies are being. I personally would never spend a penny on buying a car like this. Then you open your bonnet and you've got a glorious 3-cylinder, non-turbo 1.2 engine in what I would class as quite a reasonably big car. So you've bought the top spec Elite, and you've got an engine suitable for a grass cutter, in my opinion. In it, what an awful little engine these are. If you open the oil cap up here, can you see that down there? Just there? That's a wet belt. That's a rubber timing belt running inside of the engine, full of oil, in the knack up. And I've seen these as low as 30,000 mile, where the belt disintegrates, knacks the engine, game over. And we're not trying to hide nothing here. Can you see that there? Citroen Peugeot, Citroen Peugeot, Citroen Peugeot. Just done the oil change, Citroen Peugeot. On my channel, I have my 406. I don't dislike French cars. Certainly don't like new French cars. But at the same time, I don't get how this can be legal. You go into a showroom and you buy a Vauxhall, and you're driving out with a Citroen C3. So just be careful. A little bit of advice. I tell a lot of my customers this advice, and they take me advice, and they go out and buy, something like a Toyota or a Honda, something like that. Even though Toyota's up with the tricks with Citroen and Peugeot as well at the moment. But so just a bit of advice before you buy a car. Do a little bit of research. Because I must admit, if I wanted something like this, like if my partner wanted a new Vauxhall, she's got an Astra, and I went out and bought what looks like a Vauxhall, sold as a Vauxhall, badged as a Vauxhall, and you get it home and you find you've got a Citroen. Another little telltale signs, I'm obviously a mechanic, I know these things, but you just need to get on your knees and have a look underneath. And there's the dreadful Citroen exhaust, which lasts about 2 or 3 years and they start falling off. They're rubbish. All the Citroen back suspension on them. Not actually a bad design, the back suspension beam on these, I must admit, but the exhausts are trash. They're absolutely horrible. And I did actually have a Citroen C3 in last week, and everything inside matches up perfectly. Like the light sensor's up there, so if you put anything on the dash, it sets your lights on. There's not the off position, so you find your lights are on. If you ever have one of these and you find your lights are on permanently, just check on that little dome you haven't got like an air freshener or something. I must admit, the interior is perfectly nice, but it's just not a Vauxhall, it's a Citroen. So I don't know, if you were going out selling, Reebok trainers, and they weren't Reebok, you would get done for off-trading standards. I just don't know how these car companies get away with this. But, again, I think the minute you drive this car, I thought it was a turbocharged one at first when I had it booked in, but a 1.2 3-cylinder non-turbo, it rattles, it shakes, it's uneven. And how much would you reckon this car's worth? Quite a lot of money. I'm not joking, if money wasn't an object, that 406 drives 100 times better than any of this new stuff, so just be so careful. And like I've mentioned, watch after this video, I'm going to try and link in another video, Ford Kuga, a car that I nearly put a deposit down on. Until I found out I didn't have a great deal to do with the Kugas, to be quite honest. To find you've got a Citroen Peugeot engine in one of those. Many use Citroen and Peugeot engines. Suzuki use Citroen and Peugeot engines, Fiat engines. If you have a diesel Suzuki Swift, you get a Fiat engine. Vauxhall use Fiat engines, and all the Insignias, and the 2-litre CDTIs and the Astras as well as the 1.9s and the old Vectras. They're all Fiat. It's really not many companies out there now that aren't mixing and matching around. Renault own Nissan, so any Nissan you buy has got a Renault engine in if it's a diesel one. I believe even the petrol ones now. So, you know, the only key ones I can say is Kia, Hyundai, Toyota, and Honda, and Mitsubishi, or some of the few where you won't get unlucky. But I must admit, like I've mentioned, Toyota, if you buy a Toyota van, the Pro Ace, they are full Citroen and Peugeot. And the little the only good thing is out of Citroen and Peugeots, the new ones, is the C1 and the little, I think it's the 108 or the 109 now. They're still Toyota, so that's not a bad thing. You know, even Toyota, what's the little sports car called? The GT something? That's with Subaru. The Toyota Supra, the 50 grand car, that's just a BMW Z3, I think. So, you just honestly nowadays, believe me, before you go spending tens of thousands of pounds, do a little bit of research. Mercedes diesels, the 1.5 diesels, K9K engine, the same as what's in that. So you go and buy a new Mercedes and you pull up on the driveway and it sounds exactly the same as your Renault Clio or your Scenic or something like that. It's quite embarrassing. So yeah, I explained to a lot of people and they really don't believe us. When I turn around and go, you know, you do realise you've got a Citroen engine in that or something. There's your proof from the dealerships. You don't need me to tell any lies here. So yeah, watch after this video. Now it'll just clip into the start of a one for a Ford Kuga, just a short clip, just so I can show you a little bit more sort of proof, just to help people save a bit of money. I mean, don't get us wrong, I'm not slating Citroen and Peugeot to a certain extent. I own one, but you know, if you want to buy a Vauxhall, in my opinion, it should be a Vauxhall. So thanks for watching. This will jump to the next video. Like, subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I just thought I would do a quick video on cars being sold with totally different engines in to what you believe that you're buying. Like you may have heard us mention a few of my videos, you've got Mercedes with Renault engines in, Renault own Nissan, so anything Nissan you buy and it's a diesel, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be all Renault parts. You know, you got your Vauxhalls with Fiat engines in, and all the Minis and BMWs have got a lot of Citroen engines in them. So I just thought I'd prove my point with this vehicle. I'll switch the camera around. So we've got a 2016 Kuga in today, Ford Kuga. So naturally, if you were going out buying this for, you know, like I would imagine top spec one well in excess of 20 grand. You know, must admit they're a nice car, nice inside. You know, I can't knock the car, but I just thought I would show this because when I mentioned to people, a lot of people kind of question. You know, they say, well, it can't be. So I've got the engine cover off. Obviously, this is what you would normally see. Would be this, obviously, the engine cover. You know, Ford Jura-Torque. You know, that's your Ford engine that's in. But I'll just lift a bit of plastic off the top. And here you've got your Citroen and Peugeot engine. If you have a look, it's not even hidden either. See there? Citroen and Peugeot. Over at the fuel filter. Citroen and Peugeot. Over at the back, under that unit there. Citroen and Peugeot. So, you know, injector rail. Citroen and Peugeot. So, I mean, you know, it's not a bad thing, but I just don't know how these dealerships get away with this. Having, you know, being, you know, if you're going buying a Ford and they're giving you a Citroen engine, it's not very good, you know. You know, it's what do you class it as? Mis-selling, you know. It's very misleading to the public. So I just thought I would do a quick video on that, and I can probably show you many more like this. But there you go. There's your proof and evidence. If you own, I think the later Kugas, the earlier ones, they have another Citroen engine in, but it's not this particular one. So yeah, just goes to show, always do a bit of research before you go spending a lot of money. And I'll just switch that round. So if you like that kind of content, like and subscribe. I'll leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Bye.